In the heart of New York City, where the skyline pierced the clouds and ambition never slept, lived a man named Daniel Carter. At just 32, Daniel had everything most people dreamed of: wealth, status, and power. He was the CEO of a rapidly growing tech company, featured in magazines, invited to elite events, and admired by thousands. But there was one thing Daniel no longer had. He couldn't feel anything. Not joy, not sadness, not even regret. It wasn't always like this. Years ago, Daniel was different. He laughed easily, loved deeply, and cared about people. But success came with a price. Slowly, silently, he traded emotions for efficiency. Relationships became distractions. Kindness became weakness. And one day, he simply stopped feeling. One cold evening, Daniel sat in his luxurious penthouse, staring at the city lights below. His phone buzzed constantly, emails, deals, numbers, but none of it meant anything anymore. He picked up a glass of expensive whiskey, took a sip, and... "Is this it?" he muttered. For the first time in years, a strange thought crossed his mind. What if all this means nothing? The next morning, Daniel's assistant reminded him of a meeting he had completely forgotten. "Sir, you're scheduled to visit one of our community-funded projects today." Daniel frowned. "Cancel it." "I'm sorry, sir, but the media will be there. It's already announced." Daniel paused. He hated public appearances, but bad press was worse. "Fine," he said coldly. "Let's get it over with." An hour later, Daniel's black luxury car stopped in front of a small, worn-down building in a poor neighborhood. It was a community center his company had funded, mostly for publicity. As he stepped out, cameras flashed. Reporters smiled. Everything was perfectly staged. But then something unexpected happened. A little girl ran straight toward him. She couldn't have been older than 8. Her clothes were simple, slightly worn, but her smile, it was real. "Mister," she said excitedly, "are you the one who built this place?" Daniel looked down at her, slightly annoyed. "I didn't build it," he replied flatly. "My company funded it." She tilted her head, confused. Then she smiled again. "That means you helped, right?" Daniel didn't answer. Before he could walk away, she grabbed his hand. "Come, I want to show you something." No one had touched Daniel like that in years. For a brief moment, something stirred inside him. She led him inside the center. The place was small but alive. Kids laughing, drawing, learning. "This is where we study," she said proudly. "And this is my drawing." She handed him a piece of paper. It was a simple drawing of a house, a sun, and people holding hands. Daniel stared at it. "What is this?" he asked. "It's my dream," she said. "A happy home." Daniel blinked. "A dream?" he repeated. She nodded. "What's your dream?" The question hit him harder than expected. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out, because he didn't have one. Later that evening, Daniel couldn't stop thinking about the girl. Her question echoed in his mind. "What's your dream?" For years, his only goal had been success. But now that he had it, there was nothing left. No purpose, no meaning, just emptiness. Days passed, but something had changed. Daniel started noticing things he had ignored before. The tired look on his employees' faces, the silence in his home, the absence of real connection in his life. And then, one night, he made an unusual decision. He went back to the community center. This time, there were no cameras, no reporters, just him. He walked inside quietly. The same little girl saw him and ran over. "You came back," she said, smiling brighter than before. Daniel nodded awkwardly. "I had some time." She grabbed his hand again. "Come, we're reading stories today." Daniel hesitated. He hadn't read a story in years, but somehow he followed her. As he sat there, surrounded by children listening to a simple story about kindness and courage, something inside him began to crack. For the first time in years, he felt something. It was small, weak, but real. After the session, the girl sat beside him. "You look different," she said. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Different how?" "Less sad," she replied. Daniel almost laughed. "I'm not sad." She looked at him seriously. "Yes, you are." That night, Daniel didn't go to a party. He didn't check his emails. Instead, he sat alone, thinking. For the first time, he allowed himself to face the truth. He wasn't successful. He was empty. The next day, he made a bold move. He cancelled all non-essential meetings. His team was shocked. Investors were confused. But Daniel didn't care. For once, he wasn't chasing money. He was searching for something else. Something he had lost. Himself. Weeks turned into months. Daniel started spending more time at the community center. He helped kids with their studies. He listened to their stories. He even started sharing his own experiences. Slowly, very slowly, he began to feel again. Joy, compassion, even pain. But this time, he didn't run from it. One evening, the little girl asked him again, "Did you find your dream?" Daniel smiled softly. "Yeah," he said. "And what is it?" He looked around at the children laughing, learning, living. "To make sure others don't lose theirs." For the first time in years, Daniel Carter wasn't just alive, he was human again. Moral of the story: success without purpose is emptiness. True fulfillment comes not from what you achieve, but from what you give.